What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nature's Jewels channel. This is Mr. Crawlings coming at you. And today, without revealing too much, I wanted to show you a little development I've noticed with my pea puffer community. Now, you'll remember back in some of my older videos, I actually put this together for my smallest pea puffer, which is back there. That's Carrie. I wasn't entirely sure of the sex of said puffer, but as it develops, I had 5, and it looks like we're missing one now. I'm worried that something happened here, because over here you got, looks to be like 1, 2, and 3 females, Carrie included, and then this big guy in the center here with this big, he's got this big broad stripe, unless they're just displaying submissive colors, because they do change, they do tend to change a little bit. Hey, how you doing? See, that's the big dom, but he's got the eye wrinkles, very characteristic of a male pea puffer, and he's definitely displaying dominance in the tank. And sorry, it's getting blurry here. They move around so much, it's really hard to get it to focus on one, but that's a male for sure right there. And I'm worried he might have taken out a the 5th, which might have been a potential other male that was living in here, because it definitely seems like I'm down to 4. These guys are also getting a little picky at each other just because I did feeding time, so that's why they got nice little round bellies. But you can see, even though he's the big male showing his dominance, flicking around and stuff like that, the females still seem to come in here and don't mind taking from him literally, which is probably causing him some agitation. I don't know, it's just a quirky thing. I don't know. As pet keepers, we seem to like to imagine scenarios with our animals, or that our animals are going through and possibly thinking, but that's just a thought, just a hypothesis anyway. Alright guys, and here we go. So this is basically the new setup. Obviously we had lighting issues, so we went ahead and switched this out for this LED fixture. That is by, yeah, let me get this up here. What is it? Night Crew? I don't know. LED aquarium lighting. It's supposed to be good for aquatic plants. So we got that one, because I do want a heavily planted tank for these little pea puffers. Obviously I'm not going to be able to see them that much anymore, but I was going for this swampy, marshy kind of look. So, you know, as far as the mosses and dwarf baby tears and the Ludwigia in the back there, that's really what I'm shooting for. So we switched the lighting out. That was a huge difference, and I also switched out the filtration, did like maybe like a 40% water change, vacuumed it all out, kind of scrubbed off some of the algae on the rocks really well, and then collected some things. And then I also went ahead and added this, I believe it's called the Fluval CO2 20. So it's up to a 15 gallon, which I don't know if it's given the illusion of being a bigger tank or not, but this is actually a 10 gallon. So that should be more than enough CO2 for these plants to grow and thrive and really turn around. Alright, so you've watched the video to this point, and this is currently the setup that I'm working with. This light up here, it's got like 4 blue LEDs that I can see right now, and or it does have 4 blue LEDs and you can see the algae in this tank is just, it's insane. It supposedly grows plants. It's sold as a aquarium plant light, but it grows algae extremely efficiently. I know about, you know, shortening the daylight cycle. I also, on the previous video that you just watched, I had a hang-on tank filter on it. I switched over to a sponge filter. This is its current configuration, and even when I lowered the daytime length of the light down to like 6 hours, 8 hours, I was still growing this crazy hair algae. You can see it's doing quite well. I mean, it's bubbling and stuff like that, or it's got yeah, it's got that oxidation bubbles coming out the tips. I went through and trimmed all this and cut it all out and stuff like that, but this light sucks. Okay, I don't know if the camera keeps jumping in and out of focus. I don't know what that's about, but yeah, this LED for this 10-gallon tank is awful. All my aquatic plants are covered in algae. The water parameters are good. It's cycled. I use this substrate for aquatic plants. Paid the extra money. I really don't believe that's the problem. I believe it's my lighting cycle. I also, if you notice back here, I switched out to a sponge filter. I've been really enjoying the sponge filter on my 90-gallon aquarium, and the flow rate was just a little too high for my pea puffers. 10-gallon tank seems to be ample enough for the Dwarf Indian pea puffer, but I think a 20-gallon long would be better. But then again, you wouldn't be able to fit this light on here. It wouldn't have sufficient space, and this light is just... I even took the CO2, the fluval CO2 off of here because it was encouraging the algae growth, if anything. In a small tank like this, you're playing with very fine parameters, and it's just not worth it. The fish are all doing very well. They're very healthy, and in a second here I'm going to go ahead and show you. I'm going to flip the camera around and show you how they come up and they feed from my hands and stuff like that. They're all doing very well. It's also a nice way to minimize the amount of protein getting into the water and messing with those parameters again.